West Virginia is in the process of developing regulations to help control some of the abuses experienced by citizens in this state the past years due to the activities of oil and gas. The regulations are necessary, but the problem is that the oil and gas industry is ignoring current regulations. We've looked at 30 wells in the Kanawha County and Putnam County area of West Virginia, just outside of Charleston. These are 30 of the 55,000, and it's a small sample, but we believe it's representative because people in other parts of the state are seeing the same thing. What we found is that a large percentage of wells do not have the required API number. This is dead simple to do. What I've really noticed is that sites that have a condensate storage tank do not have the required secondary containment. This is something required by state law, and in some cases, federal law kicks in some locations where the tank is located above certain types of waterways. The absence of a secondary containment means that if there's a spill or overflow, then the material in the tank will eventually contact surface or groundwater, which you don't want. The material in the condensate storage tanks is crude petroleum and or brine, both of toxic chemicals that can cause cancer or have adverse health effects for humans, plus their effects on the environment. The same with brine. It's so saline it'll just destroy any vegetation it touches. What we're finding is that even though the state requires that the drillers bury their solid waste at an adequate depth, that we found at a large number of sites, this waste is on the surface. This means that the waste is contaminating groundwater and surface water. What we're seeing at sites and hearing from surface owners is a large number of blowouts. These are subsurface blowouts. One's a surface blowout that occurred some distance from a well. This is material from underground that is either migrating to groundwater or is migrating to the surface. This is occurring after fracturing and is due to either the fracturing process and fissures underground or faults, coming up to the surface, which is entirely possible, or inadequate cementing and casing of the well, which is also entirely possible. Both those processes are complex, are fraught with difficulty, and if an operator finds it impossible to stick an API number on a well, can you expect them to properly cement and case a well? What we're finding is that the oil and gas industry is ignoring regulation in terms of filing. They have to file a completion report after drilling a well. They have to file production reports annually. The completion report for one well has not been filed for years. For 2 wells, the production reports have not been filed at all. This is for wells that were drilled in 2005, 2008. By law, these wells are condemned as abandoned and must be plugged. Instead, the state is handing out permits so these operators can drill more wells. The production reports filed with the state are tied with the state's assessment of severance taxes. If they're not filing production reports, they're not paying severance tax. The process of writing the regulations needs to be done very carefully, because if they're ignoring the regulations, they're not going to pay any more attention to new regulations.